Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and today and this very time I just want to discuss with you the ways on how to become famous in Kenya. Yes, I know if your intention is to become famous, there are certain things that you are supposed to do for yourself so that you will find yourself climbing the ladder. And as you know, to become famous in Kenya, it can bring you a lot of things, especially it can make you have a lot of money because many people will be looking for you to advertise their businesses. Others will be looking for you to associate so that they can also become famous. However, for you to become famous, you are supposed to consider certain things so that you will make a name for yourself. So to do this, you're supposed to consider some of the points that I'm going to mention to you, and then you can decide to choose one and you go with it, and eventually you become famous. Well, before I begin to talk about some of the points that will make you famous, there are people who can easily become famous for doing wrong things, but that is not advisable. Well, if you want to become famous by doing wrong things, you will find yourself in prison, and eventually you lose your life instead of making it to the higher level. So for you to be famous in Kenya, there are 4 or 5 things they're supposed to consider, you're supposed to put in mind. First, you're supposed to have social media platforms. Well, if you have Facebook account, Instagram account, TikTok, Twitter, so try to make sure that all those people who are following you in those social media platforms get to know you better. Well, you can choose one social media platform that you know you can drive yourself to that fame. For example, there are people who just want to choose Facebook, others they just choose TikTok, and eventually they make it in life in terms of becoming famous. Most especially TikTok can easily make you to be famous in Kenya. Well, for you to be famous on that particular platform is you're supposed to be crazy. I'm saying really crazy. You're supposed to come up with crazy things, like things that people have never done before, there are those who like dancing. Well, if you dance that to the point where people have never seen anybody dancing like that, then you'll find yourself going viral in that particular platform. So loving social media is very, very important. You can acquire social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and even you can open a YouTube channel, and then from there you drive your people to one direction, and eventually you'll be known. A second point is that somebody can become famous in Kenya simply by chasing clout. Well, chasing clout is just the way of making you to be noticed by tarnishing a certain brand, the name which is already established, by coming up with your own negative way of targeting their name in whichever way. So you find that the followers of that particular brand which is famous, they will be following you up because they want to know more, which they have not known from that brand, because you have come up with something that they don't know about, and eventually people will get to know you. But that particular method can easily land you into problems because the established brand will sue you, they will take you to court, and eventually you will pay a lot. So for you, in order to embark on this particular second point, is that you are supposed to be very, very, very careful, because you might find yourself in trouble. To be famous in Kenya, I know most of people, they want this particular thing, but again, fame comes with its negative way of being, because you might find yourself landing in too serious problems that you cannot get yourself out. Point number 3 on how to be famous in Kenya is that just try to associate with the big brands, people who are well established, people who are famous. Try to associate with them. go where they are dining, where they are clubbing, where they are skating, so that you can take pictures with them, and as they post, you can find you are appearing in those particular pictures, and eventually people will get to know you. You can also post those pictures that you have taken with them, and eventually, slowly by slowly, people will get to know who you are. And another thing is that you can decide to pay some of those well-established brands to at least to give you credit, to make a shout out, and then people will get to know you. People will follow you because of their shout outs. So especially those who want to be like video vixen, those who want to do like the branding, what you are supposed to associate with those people. Wherever they are going to club, they are going to have their dinner, they are going to do what you are supposed to, at least to be around them, so that in time to come, you'll find that people will get to notice you. So for you to be famous, that is another way of how you can maneuver around, and then you tap their followers, and then eventually people will get to notice you. And another point is that you can become famous by growing gradually, just from underground, and coming up with something that people have never heard of, coming up with content that people have never heard of, come up with something unique in the country, because this way you can find yourself making a name. And when you come up with something which is unique like this, which means that fame will never vanish, because it is a fame which you have built from underground, and to get away out of you, it will be not easy. So for you to be famous in this, you are supposed to come up with something that people have never heard of, and then you just capitalize on it, and then eventually you'll find yourself making a name. And when you become famous, people will begin to look for you, especially those who want advertisement for their businesses, those who want to make you appear in their shows. And also, as you can see nowadays, YouTube is now the order of the day. People can look for you in terms of interviews and so on, and eventually you find yourself making some cash, and you can also make other businesses for yourself simply because of this particular fame. So there are people who become famous and are broke, and there are those who become famous and then they become rich. So you can decide to choose one. Do you want to be famous and broke, or you want to be famous and rich? If you want to be famous and rich, then make sure that you nurture that fame, because there are people who take fame for granted, and then eventually you become so poor instead of enriching you. So for you to be there, you're supposed to consider all those that I have mentioned. So you guys, that is just the way forward in Kenya. And as you can see, a lot of youth in Kenya, they are just embarking on what we call kiki. Kiki is just clout chasing. Somebody can just come up with something and then come capitalizing as if it is real, and then eventually you find somebody becoming famous because of that. So there are people who are of that nature. So just play your cards, and then eventually you'll make it. So guys, thank you so much for listening to me. Consider to subscribe to my channel, so that whenever I post another video like this, you'll be able to be notified. Thank you. See you in the next video.